I'm going to start this recording just because we're already at 9 and here's a few others. Yay! Bruce and I were saying, what if it's just the two of us today? We've never had to deal with that problem. So glad you were able to join us. I've watched a bunch of your stuff, Julia, over the years, this past year, because I know Bruce joins the morning like skin in the game, and then you did a CMA recording that I watched, which was awesome. So I appreciate what you do too.
Thank you.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Well, not see you. Good to hear you.
Yeah.
I turned my thing on, but the sun's beating right in.
No
Yeah.
worries. No worries. Well, it is 9 o'clock, and I know hopefully we'll get a handful more people popping in here, but I do want to be mindful of your time on Wednesday mornings here. So I want to get going. Plus, I have an inspection that I've got to get to right after this. So I need to be mindful of my time as well. So thanks again, you guys, for tuning in our little Empire masterminds that we do every Wednesday from 9 to 10. I do appreciate always that you take time out of your day to help contribute, and you guys do great business. I love that Julia's tuning in this morning too. There's Angela. Hey, Angela and Matt. You guys are coming from different parts of the country and part of our state, so it's always great to get good perspective from different markets. So today I wanted to really just focus on lead generation. I know that we've seen some shifts in some areas, maybe not so much in other areas. So I'd love to just maybe start, and especially Julia, you're coming from a different part of the country as well. Maybe talk a little bit about, are things shifting in your area, and what are you seeing and what's happening, where you're doing business?
So I am definitely seeing a huge shift, in my opinion, anyway. And I don't know if I don't think it's all of Florida. Then again, I have listings throughout Florida, so I don't just do my area, and I am kind of seeing the same thing in those areas as well. And that is one, our houses, we don't have a lot of inventory still. But the other thing is just not moving as fast. I mean, they used to move, it got to the point like everyone else there where it was moving, within an hour it was sold. But now, like, I've got some listings and they're sitting like 45 days. And that wasn't the case before. Now, with that said, they're over $1 million. So it's not like it's a first time home buyer, type thing or anything like that. But I have even noticed I've got some listings that will be coming up, and they're more in I think one of them is going to be like around the 200,000 range, and maybe one in the 650-ish, And I keep watching the market for them, and it's like, because every 2 weeks they're like, oh, is the market better? Am I going to get more? Am I going to get more? And I'm kind of saying, no, you're going to get less because we've got they're sitting too long, and we've just got too much new construction going around here.
Yeah. I would think with those lower price points, you might see a little bit more action, but then over the million. But we're kind of seeing that as well here. We're starting to do the price reductions and having to do all of that stuff. So yeah, I feel your pain. Certainly we don't work in that. We're not over $1 million all the time. We have a few of those from time to time, but we're definitely feeling what you're feeling. And I think your price point is just relative or respective to your area too.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? What are you seeing up in the cities?
I think if prices, I'm seeing a lot of price reductions in certain areas. Other areas you don't see quite as many. Anything that's under that 500 price range seems to be moving pretty quick if it's priced right.
Yep.
Anything above that 500 price range seems to be sitting on the market just a little bit longer, not a lot. We've had multiple offers on $1 million+ houses as well. So it's all over the board.
Yeah, it's hard to predict.
If an agent isn't from the area and throws a listing on thinking they can shoot for the moon, that one will sit around for a while.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is.
It's weird here too, because like I will see like something will go on, it'll sell right away, and it's, let's just say that 500-600 range. And then I have one that I've been trying to sell and I cannot get a buyer for, and it's $339,000, and it's a cute little townhome. So it's just like I can't even predict, right? I'm just like, I don't get it. So we're definitely then in agreement that we're seeing some signs that things are changing, right? We may not know which direction it's ultimately going to go, but things are definitely changing. So obviously we want to keep things moving. Low inventory by you, Julia, low inventory here by us as well. I think that's kind of across the board nationwide in most areas. What are we going to do, and what are some great tactics that you guys are using to continue to get those leads for those listings that you have, or leads for new listings and buyers?
So one thing I mentioned this morning on the call is it was a big lessons learned to me, and it's actually in my listing steps that I have. I'm just not following them now. That is, this morning I mentioned some of the listings I have. So I've got one that's listed at, like 1.275, right? So good price range. But what I did not do is I did not send out postcards just up and down that street. Did not go knock on doors. I didn't do flyers. There is now literally 5 other listings on that same street. Came after I listed that. If I would have been proactive, I potentially had some of those or all of those.
Right.
So, and same thing with another listing I had, actually 2 other listings I have, didn't do it. And I listed a condo, and now walk out the door, you walk into the condo across the street, not across the street, across the driveway, whatever you want to call it. It's now listed. So again, I just think that people are selling, but I'm missing opportunities. Yes, because I took the lazy thing to do, and I didn't follow through with my listing steps.
Yeah, I think we have gotten lazy, if I use that as a general term, because we haven't had to do much work, right? You put the sign up, and like you said, within an hour to worst case 24 hours, it was sold. So Julia, when you do like a just listed postcard or whatever your little neighborhood campaign, is that something that you have typically done in the past and have had good success with?
Well, to be honest, I hadn't really done postcards before. I literally did footwork before.
Okay.
That's just, I don't know. That's just what I did. So I would, the rule they say, 10 to the right, 10 to the left, and 20 across the street type thing. That's kind of what I did. Kind of did that footwork.
So tell us more what that means when you say footwork. Like, what would you go do?
So basically what I did is if I would list something, I just basically took a property flyer, and then on the back of it, I would have like property features or upgrades to the house that listing with the price. And then I usually took, it's not like a CMA, but I would take that, and then I kind of took.
I ever call it 10.
Whoops. There we go.
It's okay. And then I kind of took, what kind of sold or active in that area, just so that they could see, and it seemed beneficial at the time. If I listed my house and maybe there was like only one more now there, but that's basically what I did. I just kind of knocked on the door, and if they answered, I just said, hey, I didn't want to take much time in your day. I just wanted to let you know that your neighbor's down the street at such and such address. I just listed it in case you know somebody in the area, or you wanted to kind of compare it to your own home. Here's information on it. I just walked off.
Right. Well,
unless they had questions or whatever, but I didn't sit there and hound them on their house or anything like that. I just said, here's the info. And
right. And I think, people are just inherently nosy anyway, right? They're nosy about what's going on in the neighborhood. I mean, I know I would want to know like what's happening, what our house is sold for, just for my own knowledge of my own home. So I think that's a great first step for sure. Plus you get the opportunity to introduce yourself, right?
That's why I try to know.
Right. Like, hey, here I am. I'm the expert out here. I've got this house. Let me keep you posted. I also would say, and, to piggyback on what you do, I know like when we, and again, we've gotten lazy on this, but when we used to do open houses way back, now that we're starting to do that again, we would do basically an invite. We'd go out and invite the people, same thing, down the road, all the neighbors, and say, we're going to be doing an open house at 123 Main Street here. You're a neighbor. We'd love to have you come on down. Love to chat with you about what do you like best about your neighborhood? What are some of the features that you love about living here? Because I know I'm going to get asked that question when people come to the open, and I'd love to hear from you why you love this area. People love to talk. Right now I've engaged them instead of like, hey, I'm the realtor here. Are you thinking of buying or selling, or do you know anybody who's buying or selling, and doing our typical sales pitchy stuff, right? Now I'm engaging them and really wanting them to talk about their neighborhood, which they love to do. They love to talk about their house. They love to talk about the area that they live in. And then I say, feel free to stop on down, or if you do know of anybody that might also love to live in this area, please invite them. Here we're doing it Sunday from noon to 2 or whatever the situation is, right? So just having more of that organic, genuine conversation about, I really want to do well for this seller in this area, and I really want to learn more about your area and how can you help me, may lead to how I can help you, right? So I
And
love
I
that.
did the same thing for the open houses.
Yep.
And what I found is when I did them in combination, so I did the listing one first, and then, a week or two goes by, I did the same thing. I made an open house flyer, very similar to what I took the first time.
Yep.
Just has the open house date and time. No, that's different.
Yep.
Found that either one, they would see me at the door and not answer. That means they're not interested whatsoever anyway. Or two, they would answer, especially if I'd had a conversation with them before, they kind of answer. Or I found if I missed them the first time, I catch them the second, I say, hey, I was here before, I left you some info, now I want to invite you. It gave me two chances to do a face-to-face or rebuild on the relationship that I tried to build the first time.
Absolutely. And I think you're leaving an impression with these people that, you're a hard worker, right? You're going door to door. You're trying to do all you can for your seller. And I mean, to me, hopefully they're thinking, wow, when I go to sell, I want this girl, working for me. So how about you, Matt? What are some of the things that you're doing right now to find new business and lead generate?
I pound my database big time. That's probably what I do more than anything. They're probably sick of hearing from me, but that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm getting back into the open house gig because now we have to. I do like that door knocking. I have not done that since COVID. I think some people are still COVID sensitive, but they're getting over that. So I'll probably start hitting that up again because that's a great idea. I also like the idea, we've done it in the past, where if there's an open house, we'll invite the neighbors for the first hour, maybe have mimosas or something like that, because they do like to talk about themselves and the neighborhood for sure.
Absolutely. And they like to see their neighbor's house, right?
Oh, they totally do. They totally do. And then we also do a lot with the coming soon. I mean, once that signs up, throw that coming soon on there as soon as you can, because now you're going to generate a little bit more business, and people will call, the neighbors will call and say, what's going on? How much is that going for, and all that fun stuff.
Right. So if I were to say or ask you, Matt, is your sphere or your database, is that your number one source for lead gen?
Right now, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I need to change that, but yeah.
No, I get it, because that's mine too. I think we get about 85% of our business is from referrals or past clients or whatever. So I know you and I, Matt, participated in Damien's one of his classes a while back, and we talked about heading into this kind of changing market, we need to double down on what is working for us. We don't need to add 20 other types of lead generation, right? So if it works, then just keep doubling down on it. So I would tell you, if you think your sphere is getting tired of hearing from you, I would not. I just get that out of your head, right? Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
So Julia, what's your top source of lead gen other than just doing the neighborhood knocks and
like I said, I got lazy on the neighborhood knocks. Then, as we had the hurricane, which affected things. So it's like, it wasn't really appropriate to go knocking on doors, but that's over and in the past, I think that's why I got lazy, but most of mine is referrals, either past clients, that I sold to 3 or 5 years ago or now wanting to sell for whatever reasons, or I get a lot of referrals from them.
Okay.
So I have been trying to think of ways to generate some new business. One of them is I have a FISBO program thing I created, I guess you could say. So in fact, this morning I was thinking about going back to it, visiting it, kind of following those steps. And I even thought about making a FISBO kind of like a funnel thing, to where I could send them, to try to get their information, stay, on top of mind with them.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe doing that because I'm noticing we're getting a lot more FISBOs here. We also have an agent, a couple of brokerages, let me say, which I think the idea of it brilliant because I see what they're doing. There's a couple brokerages, and what they do is they do not charge listing fees.
Okay.
So the most part, like they don't charge a listing commission. And I think they do both because I've noticed he's got like a regular brokerage website, and then he's got like a flat fee listing. But if you go to that flat fee site, he'll have like 45 listings. So what he's doing is he's charging like $500 to put it on the MLS. Then he's stepping back. But now he's got all these things out there on Zillow and everything. And if you look up his name, it looks like he's got 45 listings.
Right.
So he's got the potential to get buyers for all those listings.
Right.
Then when he does go get regular listings, he can say, well, look, I've got all these,
Right.
So
right. I think that's where, as we see this shift happening, the sellers are going to need us more and more, right? I mean, it's been a great market. They haven't had to do much. We haven't had to do much. Put signs up, it sells, right? Boom. Well, as that starts to change, and as we've already started to see, price reductions and whatnot happen, they're going to be leaning on us for our expertise more than ever, right? This is where we become the professional again, the expert, the consultant. And so we're going to have to, get back into that role a little bit more. And this is where, for that guy in your market, it really is imperative that you're selling your value, right? You're bringing to the table of what and how you can help advise them through this shifting market versus just slapping their stuff on the MLS, which isn't going to work much anymore, right? As we see more of a shift. So yeah, you're going to have to go in there with the value add. And Angela, I know you're on here. I don't know if you're busy doing other things. I know you have always been able to give us some tidbits of great information when it comes to selling your value add. If you've got anything to share, feel free to jump on in.
Just in talking with agents, and I've kind of said this before, I mean, when you're kind of burnt out on your database, I think it's time on task, right? So it's the consistency of what you're going to do and making sure you stick with it. But as far as creating new business, I've talked about being a specialist in a certain niche that, obviously you care about and that you're going to stick with it. I've said before the 3 Ds, right? Death, divorce, debt. I think right now people are financially struggling. And then also divorce. I spoke with a loan officer, and I have one other agent in our group that's doing this. Rochelle, you had the divorce gal on here as well.
Yep.
A niche, in an area that can drum up new things, and just how do you stand out? I have another agent that was working on developing something for senior living homes, right? And targeting those, so it's just like, what is it that you can stand out even with another pillar in your business as a specialist, I think would be good.
I agree. I think leveraging maybe partnerships, people that in the community, collaborating with other professionals can really create some really different fun and niches or ideas for you to maybe drum up some new business. When we did have Rochelle, I don't think Rochelle was able to join us on that call, but when we had Barbara out of Arizona, she talked about that divorce niche and collaborating with those divorce attorneys in town and doing presentations and educating them, which then, you know, led to a lot of just direct leads for her, along with the court, the judges in the court system. You know, they knew who she was because she was helping to educate those attorneys. And so she was getting direct leads right from the court system. So I mean, that's a great idea. And I love that advice, Angela. So I think Matt and Julia, as we talk, you know, about our database, taking it a step further, what do our past clients do? What are they involved in? How can we then further collaborate with our clients or our database to, you know, go a few steps deeper in terms of developing new lines of business, right? Or new pathways for lead generation. Technology is certainly creating some really fun trends through AI and whatnot, that maybe there's some opportunities there. Are you guys seeing anything in your area or fun ideas that you've heard of from a lead generation through AI?
I haven't so far.
Okay. Bruce, I know you're taking some AI classes and you're seeing some stuff with some video. What were you learning about the other day that you were telling me about?
Yeah, it's not so much lead generation. Well, potentially it could be, but it was more so on saving money. So you could actually eliminate a lot of time that you spend creating content for videos by using AI, with it creating a Canva template for your thumbnail, for your scripts, for your description, for your titles, things like that. And you just have to put that together. I mean, that takes the most amount of time. You know, you can also, the cool thing with lead generation is you can also use AI to be able to plug in information to tell it about you so that it remembers you and your business, and then be able to ask it to come up with content for the next X amount of weeks, right? And it will do that, and it creates your highest and best clickable content for the next X number of weeks. And then you just take it from there and create your specific content with video and things like that around what it created.
Julia, do you do video stuff right now?
So I got to get back into it. I did, and I have tons that I've done and just not used it. So yeah, I will get back into that here shortly. And I do the AI training as well.
Yeah.
So I'm on Thursday. So whatever they learn Tuesday, I haven't seen yet.
Sure.
Yeah, I do think though, I want to maybe next week or so spend a day and go back through those and actually implement, you know, what we're seeing, because in that 30-minute there's so much.
Yes.
And you're kind of watching and getting the gist. But I think I need to back up, take the prompts or whatever. On our call this morning, for the guy saying that he was, you know, listing the steps out somewhere, and actually I thought that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Matt, are you using video?
No, I do not do video.
Okay.
I'm old school, I guess.
Well, hey, there's many ways to skin a cat, as we know, but I say you stay with what works for you. But if you are looking, you know, obviously at what's coming down the pipeline and what they're saying, you know, is that video is going to be everything, right? I mean, if you're not doing video, you're going to become obsolete someday, right? So I would say, you know, video is a great way to generate. I don't know if it's necessarily lead generation directly, you know, doing the video and then where you're posting it and running ads behind it obviously will be how the leads get generated. But, you know, just to be more visible, what I found to tap into what Bruce mentioned was it can be overwhelming, right? Okay, if I'm going to do videos, I don't want to just do one or two. I have to be consistent. You know, you have to post a handful of times throughout the week, possibly even a handful of times throughout the day if you get to be, really high level video. But what I think the AI has done is it's taken the time, um,
Mhm.
or a lot of time out of the planning for this. And so, I know when Bruce and I started doing video a while back, we were like, we got to come up with ideas and what are we going to do and blah, blah, blah. Right. And that can be very daunting and very overwhelming. And what I know Bruce has shared with me with what he's learned in some of the classes that I've taken on AI is basically you can go in to Chat GPT or whatever you're using and just say, plan out or give me 52 weeks worth of topics for my video content or my marketing content. I mean, and it spits out 52 weeks worth, right? Now you can take each week and say, write a script for price reductions or write a script for blah, 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 whatever that topic is. And granted, the classes that Julie and Bruce are taking it gets really in depth in terms of how you can make it sound like it's really you talking and how you're humanizing things. I mean, it just takes it to a higher level. But even if you didn't want to go there, what you're doing is you're just saying, you can take an hour every week and say, plan out my 52 weeks, write the script for that topic, write the post for Instagram, write the post for Facebook. It just in seconds can take what is a super big daunting task and write your content, write your script, and all you then have to do is do the video, right? And then you do the posting. So it can really take an overwhelming thing down to something very simple if you time block to do it. Now that's the other thing, right? All of our lead generation, we really need to time block to do this stuff because we get busy, our weeks get away from us. So pick the day that's maybe generally slower for you. Maybe it's the Monday, maybe it's Friday, I don't know, but pick it and time block to do this stuff so that you can become consistent, because I think whatever your choice of lead generation is, you need to time block so that you can consistently do that. And then that will for sure alleviate, that roller coaster of ups and downs. Like, I'm super busy. Now I'm handling all that business and now that's all handled and now I have nothing to do and I've got to go back to find the leads, right? So if we can time block and do it consistently, we should eliminate that.
And I just want to pick on video one more time because I think video is daunting for everybody, right? Regardless of what level you're at. So if I pick on video, you don't even need a script, right? You could just do it off the cuff. And I think the thing that most of us are worried about or concerned about when it comes to general lead generation, I don't care if it's video or sending out postcards or knocking on doors, it's what happens if it's wrong? What happens if it's not perfect, right? What happens if that postcard has a misspelled word? What happens if I go to the door and I don't know what to say? I think the whole bottom line, getting back to the basics, I guess, is just consistency and just getting out there and doing something, right? Because if you do that, if you do something and you do it consistently, you're doing way more than 85-90% of all the other agents out there, right? And all you really want is for people to see you and maybe listen to you for 2 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is, and start seeing you consistently and being recognized as that agent that knows something, that's out there all the time. It's like people driving around saying, and we've all had this, I've had people call me up and say, hey, you must be doing a lot of business. I see your signs all over. Well, in their area, I have one. And now they've maybe luckily driven to another part of town where they saw another sign, right? So now it's got their razz up where they start noticing that stuff. And that's all you want. You want to figure out how to be top of mind with people. And I think there's so many different types of lead generation, like just brand advertising or getting out there and doing direct marketing for some specific niche. I don't care what you do. I think it's just a matter of consistency and being top of mind with people, so that they remember you.
Yeah. I think I just watched a session yesterday, and my big takeaway from that was there's 1,000 different things you can do. The problem is that most of us as salespeople, we are like squirrels, right? Oh, the next new shiny object. Oh, that's going to make my life easier. Oh, I'll try that. We do 100 things half-assed, right? And we need to get our focus to do the 1 to 2 or 3 things really well. So instead of trying to do a little bit of everything and not doing it great, whatever's working for you, double down and focus on that and just master it and become so good at it that you just can't be beat, right, in that area. And I think that's what we really need as our takeaway on this lead generation mastermind, is that we're going to give you lots of great ideas. It doesn't mean you need to do them all. If it's something that you think would work really well and you want to do it, then do it and focus on it till you are great at it.
And if you're doing things like Kelly said, if you're doing stuff right now, put your blinders on and put your earplugs in, and don't listen to anybody. Don't take those sales calls from the 20 different companies that we all get calls from every week that are trying to sell us the exact same package, the same thing. Exactly. They just put a different wrapper on it.
Yeah.
You know, don't watch it, don't listen to it, just do what you're doing. Because if it's worked in the past, like Julia had mentioned with the with the neighborhood door knocks and things like that, if it's worked in the past, do it again. And like Kelly said, double down and don't let the outside world influence your business, because you can only do so much,
Right.
unless you want to spend a whole ton of money, hire a bunch of VAs and other team members, and then have to try to figure out how they're doing too. So
So Matt, I want to talk to you a little bit more. You said you've been like really pounding your sphere. What are you doing when you reach out to your sphere? What are some of the things that, like, do you do client events? Do you do things like that to generate leads from your sphere?
I just do check-ins, just give them a call or a text, hey, I'm driving to the neighborhood, you still like in the house, kind of a deal, or hey, your kid just graduated, you're going to be an empty nester. How do you feel about that? I'm going to be an empty nester too. Just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. So how do you know they're going to be an empty nester? Where do you find that
Follow them on
information?
social media. Follow them on
Okay.
social media.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's a huge tool and a great way to just stay in touch with your sphere. Just taking a few minutes every day, whether it's in the morning or the evening, look through and just shooting people a text, reaching out to them, not just the like or the comment on Facebook, to actually then take it a step further. And I know we've said this before, and Angela's been in a couple of our sessions where we've talked about this, but Bruce and I like to just do like a voice text, like do a quick little voice text, like, hey, saw that whatever, your kid went off to college this weekend. I know that was tough for you. I remember when our daughter went off, I cried and then we high-fived, right? Or whatever. But I leave a little voice text message, and I've gotten so many responses from that, like, wow, thanks so much. That was such a personal touch, and really appreciated the voice text or whatever versus the text, right? So leaving that impression on a level that's just a little higher than what everybody else is doing is memorable. And that's what we want, right? Everything we want to do, we want it to be memorable so that we're staying again in their brain. So yeah, I love
that's
that.
what I love about this collaboration, this mastermind thing, is that Kelly brought up voice texting. I used to video text, and I know that Julia has done that, and our skin in the game people do it a lot. It's something that's super simple. We do 5 or 10 a day. You just do a quick. Oops, I'm sorry. You just do a quick little 10-second, 15-second video, and you send it to them. And like Kelly said, you're different. You stand out. And if you do that every single day, we've gotten so many comments of that. And unfortunately, like Julia, I've gotten lazy. I haven't done it for a long time. And why haven't I done it? I mean, that's one of the things that has driven a lot of conversation. I won't say that it's driven business, but just like Matt says, I try to touch base with them and kind of stalk them and follow them, and that's a great way to not only reach out to them but stand out.
Well, you're
Right.
never really, because you never really know, right, when someone's going to need our help from a real estate standpoint. And they may not need you, and they may not need you, and they may not need you. But if Matt's constantly like, hey, was thinking of you driving through the neighborhood, and then, hey, happy birthday or happy anniversary or whatever, when they do need you, Matt's going to be in their brain, right? Because Matt's the guy that's been reaching out for all the stuff that hasn't been sales related. They get it when we've just listed a house. They get it when we just sold a house, and they see all that. But when you're reaching out and coming from contribution in other ways, that has been more of a personal touch, that's what they're going to remember even more than the, oh, you sold 10 houses in my neighborhood, right? They're going to know that you've been there. So I love that. So Matt, keep doing what you're doing and just staying in front of your people. Bruce and I we have had some success in our client appreciation events in the past. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that as a lead generation source. Before COVID, we did more. COVID obviously put everything to a total shutdown, and now we're getting back into doing our client appreciation events. So one of the things that we do for Cinco de Mayo, our last name is Domaille, so we have an event called Cinco de Mayo, and we do tacos, margaritas, Mexican buffet, whatever, and we invite all of our past clients, and they're whatever, come on over and have some Mexican and margaritas on us, and that's been kind of fun, and we've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years. We also do a date night where we've done personalized labels on a bottle of wine. For date night, we invite them to drop their kids off or go for 2 or 3 hours, go have dinner, pizza, go to a movie, whatever. We'll watch your kids, have a bottle of wine on us, and then you come back and pick your kids up, right? And we've rented out, like, we have a place called Soccer World down here, and it's just a huge place where they can run around, and they set up like inflatables, they set up all this stuff inside. And we basically are just corralling the kids and playing with the kids for 3 hours, right? And we bring in pizza and whatever for the kids. Mom and dad or whatever go out and have a date night for a couple hours and then come back, right? We've done that. We haven't done that. We didn't do that since COVID. So we did Soccer World once, and then we did it at our office when we had an office at Keller Williams, and we did like stations, where there was like a craft station, there was a movie room, there was whatever. So the kids could just do stuff for just a couple hours. It's, by the end of the night, I'm already pooped because I'm
Yeah,
old.
that's all we need. I wouldn't
It's a lot of
recommend it.
work, I'm not going to lie, but the families loved it and the kids loved it. I mean, we have people still talking about the night we rented out Soccer World. So, if you're looking for ideas, that's a really fun one. We've done a movie night or like a movie day on a Saturday morning. We have rented a movie theater, and we said, bring your kids, have a family movie on us, right? And that was really a lot of fun. And we give them a ticket for popcorn and a soda, whatever, and they get to see the movie, and it's a family friendly movie. So we try to do, our Cinco de Mayo is more adult. It's adults only because we're doing margaritas and whatnot. And then we try to do a family one, right? So those are some ideas. What else do we do? Oh, in the fall, we do a fall picnic. So we go to a local park that has pavilions in case the weather's crappy. And we do, we've done like a free pumpkin. So we collaborate with a local farmer or a local person that has a pumpkin farm, and they supply all the pumpkins and they bring them out. You come, you get a free pumpkin, you get, we'll do like pulled pork or whatever. We'll do a lunch, and they come on out. And then we have a photographer there that takes a family photo, and we set up a cute little thing with the pumpkins and the scarecrow and whatever. And they get a fun little family photo taken that we then have a reason to send out later to them and say, here's your family photo. Thanks so much for participating. We really had a great time. We hope you did too, kind of a thing. So those are just some of the ideas that we had for client appreciation events. Do you guys do anything, or have you heard of any great ideas from that standpoint that would be good for lead gen?
We've done that movie thing a few times. That works phenomenal. especially if it's a kid-friendly movie. Because a lot of people, most people do the adult theme stuff. So once you have the kids involved, you see the participation go up quite a bit. And we
Yeah.
always give them a free popcorn pop or whatever.
Yep. And I would recommend, if you guys are going to do something like that, that we did it in like February when it's winter time and they just want to have reason to get out of the house, right? During the summer, it's hard to really get people to come in to see a movie. So we always did ours in February or March, because it's just a great way, like I said, get them out of the house, have something to do over the winter.
And it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inexpensive. The other cool thing is that we coordinated with the movie theaters to find out what new releases were coming out. So like when we did one of ours, Roger Rabbit 2 was coming out.
No,
Nobody had seen it.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit, I'm sorry. The cool thing is if you can do that and get a movie that nobody's seen, you're going to have better exposure and hopefully better attendance, especially for the kids. And you know what? There's so many of these Disney movies have adult themes for adults as well. It's kind of fun to just go and watch those too. So
yeah, and like a Saturday matinee, 10 or 11 o'clock, that's a great time, right? Because people still can watch the movie early. They still have the rest of their Saturday or Sunday or whatever day that you do it on. But I would definitely recommend looking into something like that. What was the other one, Bruce, that we just trying to think of?
There's a fun one I saw. I can't remember. I thought I posted in the United Agents page, but people are so crazy about their pets these days.
Yeah.
So something with pets, or I think I've seen photos with your pet. Pet are just like the kids. So if you're a pet lover, I think that would be a good one too.
That's a huge untapped market, I feel. I mean, even I was watching something around the Super Bowl, and Subaru has like tailored all of their marketing towards the pet lover community. I mean, they just said that's probably their biggest buyer. So I think that's a huge untapped market for even us, right? Or for clients. Like if they know you are someone who is totally into the pet world and supports the pet world, they want to do business with people who love what they love. And even just
I found the one someone had done it was a pet supply drive for the Humane Society. Yep. So you have those pet lovers. That's kind of a fun marketing thing. Or again, the photos. So
yep. And I think you just brought up a really good point about the pet supply stuff. Whenever you can do a client appreciation event, collaborate or double to do something for the community, because that goes a long way too in getting people there. Like when we did our pumpkin fall thing, or we've done just a come and have lunch on us, but we coordinated it with our food shelf, and we said if you bring in a food item for the food shelf, hey, you're getting a free pumpkin or you're getting free lunch on us. And that way it's a feel good, right? Everybody feels good about bringing in something for the food shelf, and then they're getting free lunch out of it. We can sit and visit, and then we get to deliver the food to the food shelf, which makes us look good, right? But it's a win-win for everybody. So always, whatever you're going to do, try to double purpose it with something that you can do to benefit the community.
That actually gave me it.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, any other ideas on that?
Oh, I was going to say, it actually gave me an idea because at least in my area, it's getting better in the past few years, but it was really hard if you had pets to find anywhere to rent at all.
Yep.
And so it kind of gave me an idea to maybe make a funnel and go toward that pet environment, or whatever you want to call it, community, and maybe list out like pet sitters.
Yes.
And like do some videos where you interview them, maybe do daycares, veterinarians, and then list places and maybe do some videos on places that actually rent people with pets. Because of course the whole clue, the whole thing is to build that relationship with them so that their family, friends, whoever want to buy a house, or they want to switch from renting to buying, they'll use you. It would be a great resource to where they could say, oh, hey, this realtor gave me this thing. It's got, different veterinarians and sitters, and just make it like you go to even do restaurants. Some restaurants around here have pet menus. Maybe do something with the restaurants and show the pet menu.
Right.
Where can you take your pets?
Absolutely. I think anytime people can see you as a resource, not just for real estate, they're going to continually come back to you. And we've done, some of these masterminds on like Linktree or what's the other one? The board. What do you do, Bruce?
Oh,
Yeah, the
Trello.
Trello board, right? Like stuff like that where they can just keep coming back to your website, keep coming back to you because they know they're going to find the resources they're looking for. On a Linktree, you can do a whole section just on pet related resources, right? Like here's your pet center. If you need anything pet related, here it is, right? And the cool thing is they're always coming back to you. And you're the person that's staying top of mind. So I love that. So any other fun ideas for lead generation that you guys are trying or have tried that you've had success with?
I'm going to tell you what my goal is to try to start doing this. I will say that. So I have another real estate coach, and he was talking about how his businesses went down 40%. So his goal is to post. It sounds crazy, but then when I broke it down, it's really not. 27 times a day on social media.
Wow.
And he's using Opus, and he has a large team of 60. And one of the things they're doing is they're going out and getting a property tour. You don't have to be on the video. You can just do a property tour. And then he's using Opus to break that down. And then he's got other videos.
And Opus, for everybody who's on here who doesn't know, is what?
Oh, it's an AI application, so where you can call extension. And basically it will take a long form video and it will break it down into short videos on its own. And it retitles and I think that's also puts the script, I can't think of the transcript on it as well, I believe. So he did that, and then, like I said, he's literally posting to his business page, and then his Facebook personal page, and then it goes to Reels, and then it goes to Instagram, and it goes to YouTube, and it goes to TikTok, and and these various forms. And so, 27 times a day, you're like, oh my God, but really not that much.
Well, yeah, if you're doing one video and then Opus is breaking it down into 6 or 7 smaller videos, your time save is right there, right? I mean, that now makes it a lot easier to do.
Yeah, and I forgot what he said he uses. I wrote it down because I'm going to check into it, that he like schedules it out. So it's not like, every day he's like, oh my God, I got to post here and here and here. It just automatically kind of goes.
Yeah.
So that is my goal, to start posting. I don't know if I'll make the 27 a day, but
yeah. Well, hey, 5 a day is more than probably what you've been doing, right? So anything is better than nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I would say, technology is probably going to be our biggest friend when it comes to automating all of this stuff, to making it, number one, faster and easier to come up with the content, but to automate it so that we aren't the one having to manually go in there and do it all, right? And so I think our business is really, and lead generation is really going to change, with the use of technology for sure. And unfortunately, Matt, you and I are kind of in the same boat. Bruce drives our bus, but if it were up to me, I'm just not that person to go out and just do a bunch of video. But I think we're going to have to get on board, right? I mean, I think otherwise, if we don't, we're going to get lost in the shuffle. Especially these younger, I hate to say it, but these younger agents that they've grown up in the world of technology. This is like second nature to them, to like do a post on Instagram and Twitter and blah, 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 and all that stuff. That is so second nature. They don't even think twice. So of course, now if they can get, the Opuses and the Chat GPTs and all of that involved in, I mean, they're going to just take this to a level that we aren't going to be able to compete with if we don't get on board. So I will challenge you, Matt, to get involved with more of that and how it can help you.
All right.
Yeah, maybe we should get a little video group going together to say, okay, let's do a little challenge. We're going to do X amount of videos or whatever a week, and just to get us over that hump of comfortability, with it.
We have one of those. It's at 6 a.m. our time Oh,
That ain't
skin in
gonna
the
work
game.
for me. No dice.
And I think I told you this, Kelly, that I have, because Viet brought in that guy, and I don't know if he was the one that was at shareholders, but the sales growth person or whatever for Pivo is going to do a little demonstration.
Yes.
So I did schedule for next Thursday at
Okay.
9. I'll shoot that out to you guys today. So you're more than welcome to join us also, Julia, if you like. But he had some good little tricks and tips he was going to share with using that. So
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what Pivo is, but it's basically just this little attachment that you put your phone on, and it's basically tracking you. You can just set it up on a tripod, on a tabletop, whatever model you buy. And I bought one after our convention. And basically you get in front of it, you turn it on, and it tracks you as you're moving, right? So it's like you're having your own little videographer behind the camera, but you don't. It's just already set up for you. And you can do some virtual tours in your homes, that you're putting on the market. It's pretty slick. And obviously I'm just touching the surface of probably what it can do. So, and I think it was super inexpensive. I don't remember what we paid for it at the conference, Bruce, but I mean, it was less than probably $500, right?
Yeah, I
And
think it was about 350.
and for what you
Yeah.
pay for a virtual tour, or you pay for, somebody to follow you around with a, camera. I mean, I have a Bruce, but not everybody has a Bruce to do that. So, I mean, just you can pay for that in one swoop, so not a big deal, but really a cool thing. So thank you, Angela. I will pay attention to that. Are you going to record that?
yes, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Recorded.
So
Cool.
yeah, if you can't make it, I'd like to go back in and do that. And maybe we can even have that person do one of our masterminds on Wednesday as well. I think that's an awesome product. So thank you for sharing that. So I know we're getting down to the last here 8 minutes or 9 minutes of the session. Any last minute tidbits on really great lead gen tools that you've used? Okay. I know that when we were in our last session with Demian up in the cities, we got into, even just now that we're getting back into open houses, doing that at a high level. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. We're going to be back at that. I hate to say it. Open houses don't necessarily bring us a ton of business from a standpoint of selling that listing, but it is a way for us to meet new buyers and connect with buyers. So I would just tap into, if you're going to take the time to do an open house, try to really do it at an open house or at a higher level. Maybe get out to that neighborhood ahead of time and do some invites ahead. Make sure that you're posting it more than just once. Do it several times throughout the week to get people engaged. And then when you're there, what are you doing to really elevate that open house experience for that buyer? Are you guys doing anything right now that is maybe a little special or out of the box for open houses?
So I have do I have one next to me? Let's see. I don't have it next to me. I have hot pink bags because my colors is black and hot pink, like plastic bags you've seen in Krista's program, with a little handle. So I have those, and then inside of it, basically, like how you used to put I still put some out, but I noticed that people pick them up rather than want to hand them to them. They're like, I don't care for that. But if I just leave them there, people will pick them up before they leave. Inside usually is, again, property flyer, the information about the upgrades or anything for that property, my business card, and then it will also have the CMA sheet that we do, what's your home worth with the QR code on it is on there. Yep. Then I also have a thing about any first-time home buyer or any purchasing programs to help with purchasing. That is in there. It also has a QR code that leads to a funnel. So I have several different ways to get their info. Then I also have recently sold, recently what's active in the area. So, and then I also have another thing about if it's a water property, I'll put a map that's got the waterways where it can go. Got a pamphlet in there, but the difference between freshwater, Gulf water. It's just got a bunch of crap in it, But nobody else goes and gets like a thing full of useful crap, you know what I mean? So,
Yep.
and sometimes like now I'll start putting my hurricane checklist in there. I notice like on our social media things, people are like, oh my God, I'm new to the area. What the do I do? So I've got like a whole checklist in there. So,
Yeah. Great idea.
it's a
Again,
bunch of
being a
useful
resource.
crap,
Mhm.
you know, but so,
Yep. And I've heard of agents as well. Like, so let's say I'm doing an open house on a 4-bedroom, 2-bath split, right? Pretty typical. This might not be the one for the people coming into the open house, but they'll have a flyer printed out or they'll have their computer up with other like properties in that area, right? So they'll have a cart saved with, here's 5 other 4-bedroom, 2-bath splits in your area. They'll also have just all homes in that neighborhood that are available. So maybe they're not necessarily looking for a split, but they really like that neighborhood. They've got a couple different carts full of different, properties saved so that they can pull it up and say, you know what, you might not like this one, but you really want to be in this neighborhood. Did you see this 2-story or this rambler? Or I'm going to be listing another property, in the next couple weeks. Would you be, interested in seeing that? Right. And taking it a step further to say, I'm available. This open house ends at 2:00. I'm available at 2:15. If you want to go see these other houses, would that be of interest to you? So just thinking how you can be prepared for that open house at just a higher level than, hey, thanks for coming. Take a walk through. Let me know if you have any questions, right? And I'm guilty of that because I get really lazy. I'm like, yeah. And then let me know your feedback when you're done. Let's meet back here in the kitchen, right? So take it to another level. If you're going to take the time to do it, just take it to another level. And Angela, do you remember who was in Demian's class? I can't remember her name, but she really does open houses to a high level, and she did some really cool things, like just handwritten notes afterwards and thanking them for coming. And maybe if you remember
Yeah.
anything you could share.
I think it was Cheryl Larson,
Yes,
I
yes.
think is who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else she did, but she does do them at a very high level. And I think she also does parties at the homes, right? Where they invite people to come.
Yeah. Yes. I think what that was is she does when someone buys a home, she throws a party for them, a housewarming party. So she'll
Correct.
get like a list. Who do you want to invite to the housewarming? I'll send out the invites. I'll bring the food. And then she's there. I think she's
Right.
there. I know someone said that they don't go, but I know when we used to do this, which we did, we would be there, right? And people rave about you. This is my real estate agent. She helped me find this house. And here you've got a captive audience of about, 20 to 30 family and friends of your buyers. But she does that, I know, on a high level as well. And she's had some great success from that too. So that's a warm lead, right, to more lead generation because you've already have a very happy buyer who's now introducing you to all their friends and family and raving about you. So a lot of times we always go, hey, we love referrals. If you ever have a referral and you send out the little card and they're like, great, when I do, I'll think of you. And then, they never do, or they don't think of you for a while. This is really getting them while they're hot and happy and getting you physically in front of 20 to 30 of their closest people, right? I think that's a great idea. A little bit of cost involved, but I think that's a fantastic lead gen tip or tool.
Yeah. I was just going to end with Julia, if you like that pet idea. This is because I had shared this because I thought it was so great, but they did that pet supply drive, and then they invited the people to bring their pups. So they had pup treats, but they did it outside of the farmer's market. So I was just thinking, if you have a community, you have a farmer's market in your area, what a great way to get in front of a lot of eyeballs if you can see if that's an option even. But I just thought that was pretty clever.
I love that idea.
yeah, back on open houses, and I haven't done these things since COVID, again, kind of got lazy and quit doing stuff, but back on open houses, one of the things I would do, and it would depend on sellers. Some sellers didn't want you to do it and others loved it. But I have done like hot dog and chips.
Yep.
Kind of turn it into a thing. And I find that when people come through your open house, you tend to stay longer and you tend to build a little bit more of a relationship with buyers because they kind of think they have to stick around. you gave them a hot dog, you know what I mean, and
Yep.
some chips.
Yep.
But also for my waterfront properties, you know, depending on if they've got a sunset view, I've done 7 to 9, where I'll actually do come in and you get a glass of wine and some cheese, and you know, and people will actually stick around. I usually start at like, I think I used to start at like 7-ish. Well, the sunset, you know, doesn't really take effect till 8-ish. So as it gets darker, they're sticking around because they want to see it.
Yep.
So that's something I used to do. Then there was one more thing I used to do, and I can't think what it was now. I'll think of it here in a second, but there was something else I used to do that really helped.
Yeah. I think, like you said, if you can get them to stay longer and engage longer, you're building rapport, right? And you're building relationships, and
Mhm.
you're staying, you know, you're going to be more cemented in their brain when it comes time that they need somebody. So, yeah.
I did a swim
Awesome.
party once.
Oh,
A
lovely.
beautiful pool. We did a swim party with the hot dogs and stuff.
Oh,
Now,
fun.
again, some sellers don't want to do it because of liability and, you know, stuff like that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But
Great ideas. Great
Yeah.
ideas, you guys. I love this. I've gotten a few new ideas in my brain that I'm gonna work on, and maybe just change up our client appreciation events to tap into different markets, which I love. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining and sharing your expertise. And as always, this will be recorded, so you can you know, come back and watch it again if you want. And that's on Empire Masterminds on Facebook. So if you haven't officially joined, please do that. And then next week, we are going to try for the first time an EXP explained, or explore EXP. We've gotten a ton of questions on that. And so we want to just, you know, get some information out. No pressure, no sales, whatever, just get you some information, see how that works out. And then, the following week is 4th of July. So we will not be doing a mastermind. It's actually the 5th, but I know a lot of people will be off. So we're just going to take off from doing it on Wednesday, the 5th. But I'll do some posts just to get everybody up to speed on that in the Empire Facebook group. So thanks again, Julia. Great to see your face, and we appreciate
see you,
everything that
Julia.
you contributed today. Love it. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.
Sure. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.